Both of them. This is Instagram for like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm going to cut that off.
We live?
Yeah, we live. We live on Instagram right here.
All right.
We live on Instagram right here. It's we getting ready to set. We set up already. I'm just actually getting ready to get going. Got my special guest here tonight. But before I get going with my special guest, I just want to send out appreciations for everybody tapping in, tuning in. That's been supporting the podcast. I appreciate all of that, man. And before I get into anything, you know I got to play the jingle. So let me get my jingle set up here so we can get rolling here. Jingle.
C-U-T-T-H-O-A-T.
It's the Cutthroat Radio Podcast.
C-U-T-T-H-O-A-T.
Cutthroat Radio Podcast.
C-U-T-T-H-O-A-T.
It's the Cutthroat Radio Podcast.
C-U-T-T-H-O-A-T.
Cutthroat Radio Podcast. You already know what it is, you sons of bitches. Yeah, I know y'all want to get me with my team. Y'all been looking for me high and low. I know it. The 49ers lost. So what? We got to take the L. That's not what we're here for tonight, though. I'll get that another day. We here tonight. We got Kayda Bentayga in this building, and we finna rock and roll. Now, before we get into all of that, before we get with all of the juicy jewels he finna drop on us in his past and his present and his future, I just want to make sure I say good evening to everybody, sending prayers out to everybody. It's been rough. It's been a lot of deaths out there, so I just want to make sure I send my prayers out to everybody. You know, the Kansas City parade was just recently shot up, and that was just, you know, unfortunate for those that lost their life out there. So I just want to send prayers out there for that and everything like that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. I appreciate everybody out there. The support is real. It's, you know, the Facebook, the Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify podcasters, everything, man, all the monetize, Instagram, everybody. I just want to appreciation is real, for real, for real. I appreciate everybody out there. That love and support, everything is real, man. It's real genuine. So I make sure I just send that out there to everybody. I got my guy in here tonight before I even get into his story and we get going. I just want to make sure I covered all of that and got the bases out. And after I got the bugs all out of me, you know what I'm saying, we can introduce my guy right here, Kayda Bentayga. What's happening?
My nigga.
What's happening?
What's happening with you?
How you been, man? How you been?
I've been blessed, man.
Right on, right on. Appreciate you for tuning in here. Let me pull you up a little bit so you can get your little microphone going. Kind of pull into the mic for me one time.
For sure.
Yeah. So while we here, we gonna just get right into it, man. You go back like rocking chairs with me. We got a little history together and everything like that. But I just want to get my peoples and I want to get my audience involved. And so we gonna get into your past. Starting with your past. Where you originally from?
I'm from Lakeview, San Francisco. You know, born at Letterman Hospital.
Okay.
It was an Army base. My pops was in the Navy. I was born there. I went to my grandparents' house in Lakeview, where you know, I spent a lot of my childhood at. I still got my ID mail going to that house. You know, 94124 zip code. But I also spent a lot of time. I had a lot of family at Hunters Point.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time back and forth from there. Went to schools, you know, a lot of, like, you know, kids from, you know, Hunters Point kids and stuff like that. And also in Lakeview too. So pretty much, you know, just back and forth, you know, from Lakeview, but used to be in Hunters Point, Fillmore, all over the city really. My whole family from all over the city. So.
Okay. Any siblings?
So that shit is kind of complicated because it's like technically I'm the only child with my mom, right? But I got a step pops who had kids, you know what I'm saying, and we all, like, we lived in the same house. And then
But they technically not your bloodline?
Nah, but I got two blood brothers too though.
Okay.
By my daddy though too. That's enough, you know. So, and it was like coming up for a minute. They them and their mama stayed across the street from me and my mom.
Do me a favor, just hold that thought. I just gotta grab my. It gets a little hot in here when you got these lights on. So I just want to make sure we got a little circulation.
You good, brother?
Yeah, man, because it gets real hot in here with these lights on. I tell you, all these lights is bright. Well, anyway, so you got the two actual blood brothers and everybody else that was siblings in the house, but they wasn't actually.
But I mean, you know, I just like technically, But I was raised in a village. You know what I'm saying? Like
Raised in a village.
A lot of I lived at it for a time. My uncle had got murdered, and that's a big part of like probably what I probably talk about too. You know, it really affected me at a young age. But when that happened, me and my mom, we left our apartment, you know, in the city and moved in with my auntie and stayed with her and her kids. So, and then they had my other cousin staying with them. So it was like, I moved around a lot, you know what I mean? Stayed with a lot of different.
Like family members and friends and stuff like that. Yeah. It's something like Vallejo. Well, you live the same way. You know, when to share a little bit about my background real fast, my mom was murdered and I had to move around. I had to live with, you know, different family members, friends, whatever, that would take us under the wing just to help raise me. So, I mean, I kind of live the same way. I share the same thing. Schools. You talked about schools. What schools did you go to in Lakeview?
Yeah. So, as a kid, I went to Fellowship. That was a school. All these schools is like private schools, you know what I'm saying? But they, in San Francisco, anybody from the city know, like, those schools be schools, like, let's say your mama. My mom was a single mama, you know what I'm saying, till she got.
Where was your biological dad, real quick?
So, he was, you know, he was in the service, like I said, but he was fucking around. He was getting in trouble before, I think he went to the service or some shit like that because he was getting in trouble. He had caught a case, you know, back then you could go in the service or whatever instead of doing time or whatever. So I think it was I think he had recently just told me some shit like that. Like it was a situation with him like that. And then he came back and, you know, he was in the game, you know what I'm saying? He was hustling, but he, you know, he was using at the same time too.
Oh, wow.
So with him it was like, you know, I like my mama, she wasn't one of them mamas that down talk my daddy. You know what I'm saying? No matter what he did, you know what I mean? Like every time she let me go with him, you know what I mean? It was some crazy ass shit to jump.
How old was you at this point?
Shit, I just since a kid, like, you know, like even though they went together, they split up when I was like 7 months.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But she still let him be in my life.
Okay.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like my relationship over the years was kind of like crazy.
Why'd they break up? Why'd they? What happened? Do you know?
He started fucking around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh well.
He fucking around. You know, but he was pimping. He was hustling. But you know his addiction was getting the best of him. You know what I'm saying? And like that.